things from the ground up in the midst of the pandemic, especially efforts that are volunteer-based. Tell us about your insights about mobilizing over the last few months and how that relates to some of what Claire was describing.
Sure, I'd love to do that. And you know what? I'm actually was fortunate to track down an infographic that I hope will visually represent the impact. I believe I just sent the infographic to Maxine, so hopefully we'll be able to show that. But the pandemic has been a life-altering event for many of us, especially those that are now designated as essential workers. We are still collecting data to see that to evaluate the impact that's had on so many segments of our Canadian family, including racialized members of our community who are deeply impacted, not just economically, but also when it pertains to access to healthcare as well. So the Ramadan Meals project, which is something that I want to focus on, will illustrate the power of community, the power of folks who have basically not just able to problem solve, but are able to also provide leadership in their own communities when it pertains to access to very essential services that we take for granted. The pandemic has just highlighted the need for not just housing, but also food. As many of you might be aware, food insecurity continues to plague members of our community, including mega cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and many other cities around Canada. So the Ramadan Meals program started off as a simple idea. It was my friend Kumsa Baker, my brother Walied Khogali. We were sitting together and talking about the impact of the pandemic. And one of the things that we realized was that all our places of worship, all our community centers were closed. And folks were in isolation due to travel. Folks were in isolation due to orders from our federal, health professionals who wanted to make sure everyone is safe. And what we did is we didn't have money. We basically started to fundraise as a community, and we started off small. And we were able to secure a $5,000 grant from Carrot Cachet. And over time, after putting together a GoFundMe page, after getting e-transfers from community members, after showing the need by illustrating the sort of expectations that our community has, through the mainstream media, but also through viral videos, we were able to generate interest to the project. We were able to actually secure so much more partnerships, not just during the month of Ramadan, but also beyond the month of Ramadan. And those partnerships and coalitions continue till today. So what were we able to do through the Ramadan Meals program? We were able to deliver about 10,523 meals, which is phenomenal. That's so many people that have been fed. We were able to support our children, support the kids in our community by also holding at the end of Ramadan an Eid festival, but it had to be done different. And that is, we had to respect the physical distance measures that were put in place to keep us all safe. And what we were able to do is also put a smile on the faces of so many beautiful kids who are stuck away from playgrounds for months. Some folks who've never seen their friends, folks who might have not seen, nature. These are beautiful young children that deserve the best response to a global crisis. And what we were also able to do was also highlight the issue of food insecurity and housing and so many other issues that continue to plague our community. What we also wanted to do is wanted to make sure that this program was sustainable. So what we did is, after we were able to successfully complete the program, we wanted to make sure that the program continues in some version. And what we did is we started a new program called Feed to Heal after securing funding from the Red Cross through the funds made available by the government of Canada. we were able to now feed hundreds of families on the weekend, so every Saturday and Sunday. And our impact continues to grow because we were able to hire at-risk youth. And many of those youth actually love the experiences with Ramadan Meals, where they get to meet their neighbors and better understand the issues that plague our community, but also share their thoughts and their vision of how we can build a better Canada. So the Ramadan Meals program was a success, as you can tell from the infographic, because of collaboration, because of the sacrifice made by many community members, both in time and in resources, to make sure that their neighbors are not forgotten. So that sums up my quick orientation on the Ramadan Meals program and its impact.
Yeah, thanks, Waleed. So I think you raised some important points about the need for community connection, but also how in the pandemic we have to be really creative about how we get that, and digital tools can play a key piece in terms of mobilizing. So